Hello, everybody, and welcome back to round three, the back nine for the FPO chase card coverage at the 2020 Played Against Sports Jonesboro Open presented by Prodigy Disc. We're in hole 10, par 3, 360 feet. Going into the back nine, where it got three of the ladies at -4 and Krissie at -2. The back nine traditionally is a little bit harder, especially the last few holes. It tends to seem to be a little bit of a score separator at that point. And a great drive by Missy Gannon. Actually, all four of the shots were fairly good for this hole for all four girls. Sorry if you could hear some squeaking there. My chair all of a sudden got really squeaky, so I removed it. A great putt. Looks like we're gonna have a handful of pars there on hole 10. Pretty easy, still three -4s and they're -2 as we go into hole 11, par 4, 560 foot. This is a big dog leg shot. Emily throws her lefty shot but churns it over. It's gonna get caught up in the woods. Filming this hole is a little bit of a challenge, but I think I did okay with it. Vanessa with the big ol' hyzer and catching that right side guardian tree. Krissie also with the forehand flick, just catching it, but both of them are out in the open. It's going to give them a decent secondary shot. And Missy with the just crush. Hits it perfectly and lands exactly where she wants it to be. I guess Vanessa on the tree was on the back side of the tree. It was in her way. There's Emily having to throw a forehand roller. She was wanting that to go a little bit more left than straight, but it left her a big open shot. And unfortunately, she's going to release that a little bit late there and go right into that big wall of trees. Missy with the big forehand. Luckily, she threw a very overstable disc. She even commented that she turned that over a little more than she wanted, but the overstability of the disc saved her. And this is the shot of the tournament. Beautiful backhand roller. Put it up right next up to the basket. See how deep Emily is in the woods. She doesn't have much choice but to just toss out. Great upshot by Krissie, right up there by the basket. You can see both those discs right there. And you see Missy trying to give it a run there. Just a little bit high. Vanessa with the putt and the dirty left side slide out. Just going to putt out, going to take her bogey and move on to hole 12. Couple pars by Krissie and Missy. And a triple bogey there for Emily on hole 11. -1, -3, -4, and -2. Hole 12, par 4, 535 feet. This is out of bounds right there down by the signs. There's that kind of that riverish gap. Krissie's laying up for safe. But Missy is like, no way, I am going for this. With the huge crush, hits those trees, but has enough power to squeak on through. She is safe on the other side. Vanessa actually was going to lay up safe, stopped, went to her bag, and said, you know what? I'm going to have some fun here, and just chucks this disc and crushes it over the OB. Emily going for it again. It's going to get caught up in the trees, and she's going to go OB. She had virtually the same thing happen in round 2. These second and third shots on this hole are very crucial. You got to get to the top of the hill so you can see the basket, but even the next shot, as we'll see, to go from this spot to the basket is very difficult because the basket is on a big downward slope. You can see she's right on that crest of the hills. It's starting to go down. And Vanessa, that huge crush. So she went past it. She's going to be about pin high on the slope. Very dangerous upshot. Just to even play safe and try to lay up. The disc can easily stand up and roll. So sometimes even just trying to play smart and safe will bite you on a hole like this. And even Vanessa was not messing with that. She just threw it up underneath the basket, took her medicine, moved on. Sometimes medicine is the best medicine, even if it's bitter. You just have to do it. Few pars and one bogey, even -3, -4, and -2 as we go into hole 13, par 3, 255 foot. It's pretty much an uphill hyzer. Gonna definitely leave her in putting position. Here's Missy. Beautiful drive. Well inside the circle. I love these shots as they're coming towards you and you get to see the flight. Especially on a shot like this where you've got a little rolling elevation and you have to crest that hill. Missy has more than, or Emily has more than enough power, leaving that a little bit short. Hitting the top band will never get you in the basket. Or the face mask. Sometimes these baskets can just be evil. And another nasty left side chain face mask push away. These girls are going to walk away with a par. None of them are extremely happy about it. They did comment on the fact that they all birdied hole 7 or hole 6. So they thought maybe they already got their round, but none of them were real happy in that case. Even -3, -4, -2, hole 14, par 4, 520 feet. Again, at the bottom is kind of an OB river. Most of these girls are gonna lay up. Not that they can't get over, but just from my history of watching with them over these 3 rounds, just about all of them just play the safe route and play to as close to that edge as possible to give them a good look for the second shot. And Vanessa threading the needle, putting that disc right underneath the basket. Should make for an easy birdie. Emily's luck continues to go down, going with another OB. Considering where she was at in the woods there, Emily was at a great putt run at it. She was in the woods pretty heavily, but looked like she had it pretty clean. Missy up with the birdie, putting her to 5 under for the round so far. Krissie with just a little bit of a face mask. Emily is going to take her medicine again, move on, get done, while Vanessa takes a birdie, and Krissie's going to go ahead and walk out with a par. Through hole 14, a double bogey, 2 birdies, and a par, +2, -4, -5, -2, hole 15. It's a par 3, 270 foot. Again, this is the whole Garrett Girth. They got the ace on earlier in the week. It's pretty straightforward, pretty flat with kind of a crest hill along the side, maybe slightly uphill. And 3 great drives. And Emily's going to churn this over. She does get a fairly good ways through the trees, which sets up for this easier second shot for her. She really didn't have a whole lot to contend with, to just be able to lay up there, hopefully get her par and move on. There you go, birdie. And a good par save there, Emily. Krissie's going to take her par, move on to the big hole 16. Well, Missy takes the birdie as well, +2, -5, -6, and a -2. Hole 16, very tough, par 4, 520 feet. For the most part, a lot of these girls are going to just lay up to the water's edge or just to the flat surface, so their second shot can go over the water. The water is all out of bounds. It can make for a very tough second shot depending on where you land, and with the way the hill crests downwards, it's really hard to see or really know what your disc is going to do when it hits the ground. It can roll very easily. But all 4 girls executed a great upshot. Now we just have to see where they landed. So as you can see there, Missy had us up against that tree, making it a little tougher, forcing her to throw low, which digs it right into the water to go out of bounds. Vanessa's not even messing with it with that tree right there and just lays up. But Emily is like, I am going for it. It's over safely. She's going to have a putt. She's going to have a kind of a lower angled putt. And this shot with Krissie is a beautiful shot. She did this shot in round 2 and went out of bounds, almost the exact same thing. She rectifies that in round 3 and places it perfectly. Well, Vanessa does the same thing. Parks that with her, well, that'll be her 3rd shot. She'll take her par and move on. Well, Missy's thrown from the drop zone from her out of bounds stroke. Emily with the huge birdie. Birdie, birdie. So 2 birdies, a par, and a double to go to +1, -5, -4, and -3. So we go to hole 17, another par 4, 530 feet, slight downhill with a left to right churn. Emily with the huge crush. Smashed potatoes, as we talked about yesterday from Cat Merch's fan club. Vanessa's going to fade out a little bit early, but she does stay in bounds, but she's going to have that little bit of tree up against the barbed wire fence to contend with. And Missy worm burns that about 80 feet in front of her off the tee box. She was laughing and joking about that, saying, I didn't even note the throw here, which she threw a meteor. But as we'd all imagine, she did not practice that throw. And Vanessa with the threaded line, going a little bit deep, but very, very straight. Great upshot by Krissie. She's going to give herself an opportunity. And sails over the top. That was for her birdie run, so she's going to have a little bit uphill par comeback. Vanessa with a beautiful putt to get the birdie. Vanessa's finishing out strong. Great par putt by Emily. And a par for Missy and a par for Krissie on hole 17. 1 birdie, 3 pars, +1, -6, -4, -3. So we go into hole 18, one of the toughest holes on the course. Par 5, 818 feet, as you see those girls giving their social distance congratulations and high fives with their feet. It's a very tough shot. A lot of spots again where you can land, but that was a great drive. She's going to be along the left edge fringe, but still a good drive. Krissie over on the right, she's going to be inside a little bit of trees. But Emily's like, you know what, I'm just going to throw past all of it with the huge lefty fade from left to right. And Missy's going to hit that tree and kick left. Going to put her deep in the woods, but she actually had an opening, as you can see there, to get her out safely. You just never know what you're going to get when you get inside these woods. Great out by Krissie. Vanessa being tucked up into those woods a little bit, didn't have a lot of choice, so she had to throw it low. Just a little bit high, clipping those branches. Vanessa did not like that. Missy giving it a run, just over that left corner. Last 2 shots of Emily been a little bit low. Maybe she's getting tired, but it's definitely not what she's capable of doing, or I know what she's wanting to be doing. She's getting pretty frustrated. But Vanessa with the hit in the bottom of the pole. All these girls are tired. It's the end of 3 rounds. 8,500 foot course times 3 takes your toll on you after 3 days, plus the practice. The travel schedule. A lot of these girls will be ready to move on. All right, everybody, thank you for watching the 2020 Played Against Sports Jonesboro Open presented by Prodigy, this Disc Golf Pro Tour event. It was my pleasure following these ladies for the last 3 days on the second feature card and chase card. I look forward to doing it again. If you like what we're doing, please like, share, subscribe, comment below if you have anything that you want to say. I'm still learning and always trying to improve. Until next time, we'll see you later.